These are just some of the highlights of how the Lord has brought our church from a small mission to the church family that we know today. Dayton Avenue Baptist Church began in 1956 when First Baptist Church of Fairborn planted the Xenia Southern Baptist Chapel. They initially met at the McKinley Elementary School, and after several years as a mission, they officially constituted as Dayton Avenue Baptist Church in 1960 with 88 charter members. They called their first pastor Gordon Walker, who in this photo is second from the left, Howard Jordan standing right next to him. And on the far right is Weir Cooper, who donated some land on which the church could build a facility. This is the building they completed in 1961. Pastor Walker's ministry continued until 1963, when Pastor J.C. Rakes was called to serve. He was a man with a penchant for organization and administration, exactly what the church needed at that point in its history. His pastoral care for the people saw the church grow significantly as it continued to reach out in the community. In 1967, they needed a larger sanctuary, which was completed 2 years later in 1969. But they were not content to just focus on their own needs. They had a vision for church planting. Arrowbrook Baptist Church on Upper Bellbrook Road was started in the late 1960s and was constituted as a New Testament church in 1970. Arrowbrook continues to minister to the Xenia community today. In 1974, Lenwood Nichols was called as the third pastor and served for nearly 10 years. Only weeks after the Nichols family moved, the historic tornado of 1974 tore through Xenia. As you look at the courthouse, you can get a glimpse of the destruction it left behind. True to form, our church family sprang into action helping with the relief effort, providing clothing and food for those displaced. A highlight of the 20th anniversary in 1980 was that all three pastors of Dayton Avenue were able to be in attendance. 4 years later, Ron Kopic was called as the fourth pastor, and he and Roberta and their family served the church the longest, 16 years, until 2000. Under his faithful pastoral ministry and preaching of God's Word, the church continued to grow and innovate. A praise team was formed, and the church even hosted a Newsboys concert in the back parking lot in 2000. Then, on September 20th, 2000, as the church was gathering for a prayer meeting, another tornado struck, this time destroying the church property. This is the preschool room, which you will hear was vacated before the tornado hit. There is shattered glass and metal everywhere, a testimony to God's miraculous protection of our church family. Those very people, many of whom are with us today, regrouped, dreamed, and sacrificed to lay a new foundation. Not a single service was missed. They began to meet on Legacy's campus, which was not easy. It was cold in the winter, really hot in the summer. They had to find ways to accommodate their classes and communicate to the community where they were temporarily meeting. As a result, the numbers began to decline. Yet the people who remained showed great faith and commitment to see this church grow and thrive again. They broke ground on a new building in 2002 under the leadership of John Johnson, the church's fifth pastor. The building they constructed seated almost 500, far, far larger than their membership at the time, but they trusted that God would take care of filling it. The church called us in August of 2005 to serve as the church's sixth pastor. About the same time, Bruce and Becky Traeger came as worship directors. Time flies when you're having fun, and these 15 years have flown by. The church continues to grow. So, in June of 2007, we broke ground on an educational extension, which was built mostly with our own hands and with the help of Southern Baptist builders groups throughout our state and our region. It was dedicated a year later, in July 2008. 2010 was a significant year. We opened the doors to the Living Well Health Clinic ministry here in Xenia, purchased our mission home next door after 4 years of prayer, and celebrated the church's 50th anniversary. After extensive remodeling, the mission home was opened to guests in 2010 and has enjoyed full occupancy ever since. Many wonderful missionaries have become a part of our lives through this home while on furlough, and our vision to reach our community and our world continues to be expanded through partnerships with them. 2012 was another significant year. We burned the mortgage and became debt-free just in time to break ground on another significant building project that included an extensive remodel of the educational wing we had completed only 4 years earlier. Dedicated in 2013, that space quickly became the hub of our family ministries and also the home of a third Sunday morning worship service. With the ink hardly dry on that new mortgage, we were presented with an opportunity to purchase the 21 acres that surrounded our facility. After much prayer, the church family voted to proceed with the purchase and receive a special offering. God provided, and the land was purchased debt-free in 2015. In 2018, we voted to expand again, to make room in the sanctuary for our growing church family. Days after the groundbreaking ceremony in April 2019, the Lord orchestrated a series of events that brought that project to a halt. After a year of reevaluation and the onslaught of COVID-19, our church voted again this spring to proceed with a smaller scale building project to create a kitchen in the heart of our facility and construct an addition that will double our restroom capacity. While this historical overview has focused on how the church's ministry has expanded throughout the years, the real story of our church's history is about how the Lord has faithfully enabled his kingdom to grow through the sweet, caring servants' hearts of this body of believers. May the years ahead, until Jesus returns for us, be just as sweet and just as filled with the Lord's abundant blessings.